Today, I am joined by Clayton Collins, the founder and CEO of HW Media. For most of my listeners, you're going to recognize the names HousingWire and RealTrends, the list every real estate agent wants to be on. Clayton, welcome to Glennda's Guru. And for my audience who may not know who you are, give us a little summary.
Well, thank you for having me, Glennda. It's a pleasure to be here. And as I was saying before we went on the air, I've hosted a bunch of podcasts, and it's from time to time, it's nice to be on the other side of the microphone. So excited to be in this seat today. I'm Clayton Collins. I'm the CEO of HW Media. We are a media and information services company that serves housing professionals exclusively. So our core brands are HousingWire and RealTrends, as you mentioned, Glennda. We also own and operate Altos Research and some other smaller brands like Reverse Mortgage Daily and the Builders Daily in the home building space. But we are building an information services business that helps serve professionals across the housing ecosystem, from real estate sales to home building and everything in between, with information, knowledge, events, data, and all the tools that you need to make better decisions faster. And I'm almost 10 years into this journey, Glennda, and it feels like I'm just getting started. But we're having a great time over here working at the intersection of the housing world.
Well, information and data has never been more valuable than it is today. What was the trigger that got you into this business? Like what was it? And you said, "Oh, that is exactly where I want to be."
Yeah. So I kind of a unique confluence of things that came together to make this happen for me. So before I acquired HousingWire in 2016, I was an investment banker, primarily working on media deals, and worked for the Royal Bank of Canada, worked with a lot of big clients on buying and selling media and technology companies. And, after going through enough transactions on the advisory side, my operator and entrepreneurial itch really started to kick in, and I started to hunt for opportunities to move over to be an entrepreneur and find the right opportunity for myself. And I met the founders of HousingWire in 2016, and it kind of clicked for me, Glennda, that this background I developed in banking of getting to know the media world enough to be dangerous, combined with the real estate and housing world, which kind of fortuitously I grew up around. My dad is a mortgage originator. I have family members who operate a local independent real estate brokerage. I grew up around this space, and I saw the need for better information, for faster information, for an organization that would really pull together all of the pieces to help agents and loan originators and executives across the ecosystem understand what their counterparts and stakeholders are going through. And we saw a world where it felt like information was very, very bifurcated. Agents were reading content or listening to podcasts or YouTube shows from folks who didn't understand what was happening in the loan origination space. Loan originators had no idea of the challenges that their agent partners were facing. Loan servicers and capital markets professionals didn't understand what was happening at the tip of the spear in home building and new and existing home sales. And we believe that by bringing together all of these leaders into a community and hopefully consuming the same or similar information, we could help create a healthier, more sustainable, more efficient housing market. And I don't know, my passion just got triggered on that, the opportunity to hopefully make a sector better, make an industry better. And that's what we've been seeking to do here.
Well, I think that you do a great job at providing consistently reliable information for the industry. So let me applaud you at that. You are not really in the what I would call the inquirer business. That's not kind of your game. You really are such a respected and fact finder, truth teller. I would say vehicle for the industry, and I think that that's amazing. It's definitely something that was needed.
Oh, I appreciate that. I mean, that's the charge of all the folks on our team, from our reporters that cover what's happening in the real estate market every day, to our economists and analysts like Logan Motoshami, who lives and breathes the housing world, to our data team at Altos and HousingWire Data that are tracking all active market inventory and listing data. They do it all through the charge of like, consistent truth. And maybe there's times where we wish we'd have a few more viral headlines, but we don't go for the sensationalism. We go for the consistent fact. And as Logan highlights pretty often, this industry is way more consistent than the headlines give it credit. And if you really understand the housing world, you start to understand that home sales and purchase mortgage originations not nearly as volatile as people think they are. Yeah, like the refi cycles come and go, and inventory might shift between existing and new home sales. But there's 4 or 5 million households in the country that are going to transact every year, one market cycle or another, no matter where interest rates are. And I feel like that consistency is a little bit undersold or not understood to its fullest.
That is so true. And I love Logan. I actually have followed him for quite a while and had the opportunity to meet him in person. And what an amazing speaker. And again, somebody who kind of unpacks and delivers the information in a capsule that you can actually take and apply to your business as a real estate professional. He is amazing. And I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head. It is not about going viral. It's not about vanity. It really is about bringing value and visibility to your audience, to whomever is consuming your content. And I talk to agents about this all the time, about how critical it is not to sell real estate to create content, but to create content to sell real estate. And that value and visibility is something that you guys have really cornered the market on. And I love that for our industry because it is such a consistent, it's a consistent thread that not only for us as an industry, but that we can put out to the consumer like RealTrends. I remember the first time I saw the RealTrends list, I was like, oh, my stars and stripes, I have got to be on that. Like, how do I get on that? And I love that you actually require proof to get on it.
Oh yeah, no, it's a double verified program. Like, we're actually verifying production data from every agent, team, and brokerage on the list. And I think there's a lot of recognition and award programs in the world or in the sector that don't go through the same validation and verification process as we do. And while we call RealTrends a recognition program in some circles, I do think at the crux of it is our belief that performance matters. And I think there's a lot of professionals in this world who, are great at content and shout from the rooftops about how great they are, but the numbers don't back it up. And that's one of the things that I've always loved about RealTrends, and I've admired long before I had the opportunity to be the owner and operator of the business, the dedication to performance. And I think that some of the best sales professionals in the world got that way because they have reps and experience. And there's so many folks in mortgage origination and real estate sales who just haven't had enough reps to be great at what they do. And I've always thought RealTrends, brings light to the people who have had enough reps to truly be experts. And so I don't know, I get really excited about the folks on the RealTrends list because I think they've earned that seat, and that seat should earn them more business.
I love that. I love that. I remember one year I was on a listing appointment, and the seller asked me, he goes, "Aren't you going to tell me that you're number one?" And I looked at him and I was like, "Excuse me?" And he's like, "Well, you're the fifth agent that I've interviewed, and all of the other four were number one." And I said, "Well, actually, I'm number six, and that's RealTrends verified."
Yeah.
And he goes, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, there is a place that you can verify where I am, actually." Yeah. So I did get that listing. I did sell it. Now, let me ask you a question. Where do you see okay, before I go there, let me ask you a question. Where do you think our industry is going? Where like what do you like everything that's going on? There's so much like chaos and crazy. Like
Yeah.
what's going on in our industry?
There's a lot of chaos and crazy. You're right, but then there's also a lot of people who stay the course and focus on the activities and strategies that helped them get to where they are today, and they keep doing those things. So it always astounds me where it shouldn't really anymore is you hear all the crazy and the different lawsuits or AI strategies or AI fear, and then you get out in the world and you talk to top producers, and they're just doing the thing. They keep going. They're talking to their past clients. They're doing the local marketing strategies that worked for them. They're building their team the same way they did before, but they're not ignoring changes in technology or changes in in the industry or market dynamics. They're aware, but they keep doing the things, and they don't let noise distracts them from core business activity. And I think that has been inspiring to me as an entrepreneur overall, and inspiring from my seat at HousingWire, because it reminds me, and it should remind every leader, an entrepreneur, a business owner out there, that there's core business activity that got you to where you are. You need to keep doing that. Be aware of how AI or new technology might make you faster, might create new opportunities, but I find very little value in getting distracted by existential risk and fearing that the role may not be as important or around as long as people think it is.
That's so true. I think about my friends, the Jills in Miami, and I think about them. I mean, they are just hitting the pavement every single day, active in their community, talking to their past clients, working on every house that they have listed to get
Yep.
it sold, working with agents in the community. And they're not worried about what is the shiniest toy, what is the latest and greatest thing, how is AI going to replace them. They literally just keep their head down and sell, sell, sell. They do what makes them great over and over again. And I think that really is the difference between the best agent and the not so great agent. Is the best agent is never distracted from what they are devoted to.
And if you're going to get excited about something new, let the excitement come from an angle of positivity and being in a offensive stance instead of a defensive stance. And I was just joking with my leadership team this morning on a call that unfortunately can't have a conversation without it landing on AI right now. And Glennda, AI was not something you and I planned to talk about today, but
No.
but here we are. And there's two ways to react to innovation, and one is from a place of fear, and one is from a place of forward momentum. And I'm looking for every opportunity in my business to move faster and make better decisions, or unlock new capabilities, or be more efficient, do more with the same number of people or less, with technology, not from a place of fear of hey, is this going to disrupt me? And I think that the second you get in that fearful state, whether you're fearful of interest rates or market dynamics or technology, things tend to become self-fulfilling prophecies. And so an entrepreneurial learning, I guess.
You are so right, because for me, I look at AI, it's like jet fuel for somebody
Yeah.
like me. I'm so not scared. I love it so much. I can't embrace it enough. I literally, everything that I hate to do, everything the sequence of events and how does it roll out. I went under contract to buy a house on Friday, and I've bought and renovated several homes, but I thought, you know what? Let me just put in everything I want to do, and let me just have it, see how it would sequence out the events, just to make sure that I'm doing it in the most effective and efficient manner. And is there a way I could do it better? And just so many different options. I
Yep.
love just it's like my best friend. I can bounce things off of them, and then it comes back and I'm like, oh, my stars and stripes. I didn't even think about that.
Just today I learned how to be in two places at once with AI. I'm here at work filming a podcast with you, Glenda, and at my house right now, there's a landscape crew ripping out an old tree and hedges and putting in a row of Eagleston hollies and a Japanese maple in front of our dining room because I gave them exact images of what I wanted from AI, and now I have no fear that's going to happen exactly as I want it because I gave them like the exact layout. That would have been harder to do without visualization tools that AI has been able to unlock.
Well, and you could have actually made yourself into an avatar and given them the instructions.
I
That's the
could.
thing is like, so I've been selling real estate since Jesus was a baby. And so used to people would get in the car with you. And when you were showing them houses, you'd go from house one to house two to house three. And in between the showings, you would say, oh, now we're going to go see 123 Banana Street. And this is all about this house. And you would be able to like give them the intro and tell them all about the house, right? Well, now you can't do that because they're in the car behind you. So now what I'm doing is I'm actually uploading that into a little podcast with my own voice that tells them all about house number two as we go from one to two. So then when they get there, they've already had like, like the forward. They've already gotten like all of the download of everything about this house, why it's on the market, why the people are selling, what's the most important thing to them, and all that. And they've heard it in my voice in their car.
And you communicated it not directly in front of a Ring camera where the sellers are hearing all your voiceover.
Yeah, no. I mean, I mean, it's so amazing. And then I'm actually recording as we're in, like from on my little doodad, I'm recording there and debriefing. So what did you think about this house? And what did you not like? And what did you love? Because, if you're showing them 5 houses, they don't remember anything that you said. And
Yep.
then you can go back and literally, as they were walking through the house, give it to them in literally almost like show notes. So I think it's just there's so much opportunity, and agents are so worried about being replaced that they aren't really getting excited about all of the opportunity. And that's kind of where like I love like your data is coming in and
Well,
all of the data your company is providing.
I do like to bring it back to your question about like how I think the industry is changing. Like to hit that from a slightly different angle, I do think that the cream is rising to the top,
Oh,
and top performing businesses and agents and loan originators will find their way to more market share because they have more reps and they have the expertise, but also they're going to be embracing technology from the right footing. And so that does create like a dynamic that could change, real estate in one way or another. It may be an ecosystem where there are fewer agents, and the top agents or teams do significantly more business. And if I look at that dynamic through my entrepreneurial rose-colored glasses, I see a better world where consumers and home buyers and sellers are getting better advice because they're talking to top performers more frequently.